Who is the most surprising of the 8 Hall of Fame inductees?
I got to say Drew Pearson. I was looking through everybody, and at first, off the top of my head, I was like, well, I mean, Fenica, Manning, Johnson, and I was just going through everybody. But then I was looking at Drew Pearson, and it just kind of made me wonder because I'd never heard of him. I was wondering, just the stats and everything. So I went and looked, and 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time Super Bowl champion, never had more than 8 receiving touchdowns in a season. And I'm not taking anything away from it. When you're talking about Torrey Holt's not in the Hall of Fame, when you're talking about Hines Ward, when you're talking about Reggie Wayne, those 3 damn receivers are not in the Hall of Fame. But Drew Pearson got to go. I don't understand stuff like that. And then when you look that, he played for the Cowboys in the 70s and the 80s, so I feel like maybe that was some sort of push behind it. We know the big brand. And
it says they give the seniors have their piece. So you get 3 recent players and 3 seniors.
So I guess people that have, taken a minute to get voted in, get written on.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the distinction is, whether it's like they've been retired for a particular amount of time, but I know they have 2 separate categories because their numbers are just different.
Yeah, he only had 2 seasons with over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean they didn't play as many games for 1, and 2 they didn't really throw the ball.
Yeah, well,
their numbers are just not comparable for multiple reasons.
Yeah,
it's not even fair to compare their numbers.
Fair enough then, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't mad at Drew Pearson just for that reason because he fell in that category over there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the only person that I was really surprised about, and people will probably get their panties all ruffled up about it.
That's what we do here at Petty Sports.
Calvin Johnson.
What?
Not that he made it.
Dude.
I'm not surprised that he made it. I'm surprised that he went in first ballot. The T.O. had to wait till his 3rd rotation. He's not better than T.O. He didn't even play long enough to get that distinction for first ballot. He is an all-time great wide receiver. Mm-hmm. He is not first ballot. You don't get rewards for retiring early.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That was your decision.
Fair enough. Still crazy.
You want to retire early, then retire early. That don't mean you're still first ballot. But then you got folks like T.O. Like T.O.'s top 3 in everything.
Yep.
And waited three rotations.
Yep. No, that's fair. I can't.
It's even more disrespectful to T.O. that he's getting in now.
Yeah. No, I can't argue that, bro. That is facts. 100%.
It's like they're just doing stuff to take jabs at him now. Last year it was Moss. Now it's Calvin Johnson. He couldn't be mad at Moss because he should have been first ballot too. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, hold up, Calvin Johnson?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, I hated to see Calvin walk away that early too. But I mean, sometimes you just get tired of, same old with a team that you have no hope with at that point, which was clearly the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, man. It's really a shame that it had to go down like that. Barry Sanders put up numbers that are still up in the top, though.
Yeah.
Like, in his short period of time, he actually could have passed Walter Payton as the all-time leading rusher at the time. I mean, that was a little different.
Yeah.
he did retire early, but it's like Calvin didn't get to the point where it was like, okay, you got Jerry, Randy, Calvin.
Right.
He wasn't right there. And now people since then are even passing him. So, I think that's just craziness. So, outside of who we were surprised at, who is the biggest snub that's still waiting to get in?
Still currently waiting to get into Kansas. And I had to do some research on this because I wanted to, pick some guys that have just been out of the league for a little while and a lot of guys that I was able to actually watch. But when you comb through and go through plenty of lists and see guys that are still waiting to get their shot in Cliff Branch, wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders, had a huge career, played from 72 to 85. A lot of people say he was the best deep threat in the NFL at that time. And when you look at his numbers on the multiple runs he had, 3 straight All-Pros from 74 to 76, almost 160 catches, 3,100 yards, 34 scores, and 42 outings. The dude was able to ball, no question about it. Easily 20 yards a catch when he was out there, and a 3-time champion. So, it makes you wonder, a guy that was that consistent. We talk about, there's a lot of uproar about Edelman, and it's like, wow, but this guy actually balled consistently in the regular season and in the post and won it all. So it's kind of just a step up, But, again, It's like, you look at Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Hines Ward, it's like, what's going on with these guys? When are they going to get their shot? And rest in peace to Cliff Branch, passing away in 2019. I hated to hear about that. But I do got to say Cliff Branch for probably my biggest snub waiting to still get into the Hall.
Okay. I got 2 of them, actually. First of all, being Unk's brother.
Sterling. Yes, highly agreed.
Sterling Sharpe. I mean, he only did 7 years, but in his 7 years, the man had almost 600 receptions for over 8,000 yards and 65 touchdowns. I mean, he put up numbers. 5 Pro Bowls.
Oh my God, 65 touchdowns.
3-time first team All-Pro.
Yeah.
If you made first team All-Pro 3 times, and now you must understand that we are talking about an era where Jerry Rice was still the man. Like, he was right there with him the entire time that he was in the league. I mean, outside, but before he had the injury, it's like nobody was putting up the kind of numbers he was when he retired outside of the couple of guys at the top of the list already. I mean, he should have been in a long time ago. Now there are multiple receivers that have just completely destroyed his numbers.
Right.
But in the amount of time that he did it and when he retired, he should have gotten in quite some time ago.
Yep.
My other guy was Tony Baselli. A lot of folks really actually, like, he's very recognized in all football circles as one of the best offensive linemen that we've ever seen. The dude was in the 90s all-decade team, 3 times first team All-Pro. He also did 7 years, 5 Pro Bowls. His numbers are almost the same as Sterling Sharpe's as an offensive lineman. I mean, the dude made the all-decade team in the 90s. And just for reference, why that's actually so significant, if we all remember who is the best offensive line to ever grace the NFL, that would be the 90s Cowboys.
Yeah.
He made the all-decades team over players from that team.
Yep.
I mean, like, it's nothing short of amazing. I mean, and the dude's he's in the Jacksonville Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame. It's like, man, show that man some love. I was going to be mad at Alan Finica over him, but Finica was a senior, so they're not being measured on the same level. So I had to let that one die.
I'm glad you didn't bring up Finica, man. That's my dude. I think he well deserved that spot. Finica's a G.
I mean, if we were going him over Baselli, then no.
Well, yeah.
It's not it wasn't to be compared.
Right.
They didn't go in on the same side.
Yeah, and now I know, and I really didn't know that they did have like a senior class, but now it makes sense because it makes you wonder why you do see like a Manning and then you see, a Drew Pearson. It's like, where were these guys?
Yeah.
But they did play obviously a while back compared to the more modern guys.
That's why they're doing that.
Cool, man.
Yep, so man, we're going to take our